Hi guys, me again. I thought I'd talk to you about bipolar disorder, something really close to my heart. I have bipolar disorder too. I've lived with it. Was diagnosed when I was 23. Growing up until I was diagnosed, I would lash out at things. Didn't know why. My poor sisters, they copped the brunt of it. I would try and run away. I would try and harm myself. I would do all these things. But my brain just didn't know what I was doing or why I was doing it. Bipolar disorder is an imbalanced chemical in your brain. I've had so many people say to me, it's just in your head. I've had so many people say, oh, you'll get over it. I've had some Christian friends say to me, oh, it's Satan, just tell him to leave you and to pray that you'll be right. I am now on, after ups and downs, I was put into a locked psych unit. Oh, must have been about 4 or 5 years ago, because I had suicidal thoughts, didn't know why. And the psychiatrist I saw looked at the medications and he said, that's what it is. One of the medications you're on, if you've got bipolar, you're not meant to be on it. It's good for depression, but not for bipolar. Gives you suicidal thoughts. So I had to go into the unit and just really so they could take me off the medication and put me onto this new medication safely. And so I could be kept an eye on. And yeah, met some really nice people in there. I just find that when I go through trauma in my life, my bipolar really kicks off. And it's the depression, and I start going downhill. And then all of a sudden, it's like I want to get up, I want to walk, I want to do housework. I'm like the ever ready battery the bunny rabbit that just doesn't stop. And my head just carries on. And I don't go into the mania, which is going and doing really stupid stuff. I go into the manic, which is just not stopping, doing housework, going for big long walks, really just using up energy. And so with me getting sepsis last year, my bipolar has really played up. I had to see a counsellor, and she was brilliant last year. And she explained to me that with a normal person, they can go on a ladder, they'll go rung by rung. Or if we use ABC, they'll go A, B, C, D. And then when they get to the top, if they start going into depression, they'll slowly go down and they'll realise sort of where they are and they can get themselves out. With bipolar, we don't have that middle stage. So we'll go from A to Z and then from Z to A. And if we're not on the right medication, so I can go from depression one day and then manic the next day, or mania, whatever it's called, where I just can't stop. And that will last a couple of days. And then I'll hit depression. And I'll cry, and my husband will go, "What's up?" And it's like, I'm just not, I'm low. I just don't care. And just the last couple of weeks, it's been like that, where I feel isolated. I can't remember the last time I saw a friend who came round for coffee. My cousin comes and sees me when he can. But other than seeing my husband, and every now and then my surrogate daughter, I don't see anybody or even hear from them unless it's medical. Like I see my carers and my district nurse, I see the GP or I hear from the GP. Hospital, I see or hear from them, but I never see friends. I've actually lost all of my friends and that can be very lonely. And I don't know what to do to find friends that will come over here and make their own coffee, because I can't get up and do it. I don't know where to go or what to do from here. I try and keep myself busy, but sometimes it's just so hard that it really affects me. And sometimes I think, and I've said it to my husband, he'd be better off without me. And yeah, bipolar isn't something that's going to go away. I remember being at my auntie's funeral, and I was the only one in my family that wasn't drinking. And my sister says, "How come you're not drinking? Is that because you're a Christian now?" And I said, "Well, no, because a lot of my Christian friends drink. It's because I have bipolar. I'm not allowed to, I'm not meant to drink, because if I drink, it affects my bipolar." And she goes, "Oh, you haven't got bipolar." No, there's nothing of the sort. And my sister-in-law said to me, "When were you diagnosed?" I said, "When I was 23. And she said, "So nobody's known about it?" I said, "No." I said, "Mum knew about it, but she kept it to herself." I never even told my husband till I had my first depression episode, and it was after a night of heavy drinking, and that was to mask everything, because when I wasn't on medication, I'd take drugs, I would take excessive drinking, and I said to him, "I need to see the doctor. My bipolar's playing up. I need to get back onto my medications." And he goes, "Oh, I don't believe in that." So I just turn around and says, "Well, you're going to have to, because I've got it. I live with it every day." and I'm no longer coping with it. And he's been a really great sense of support. From that day, he's just, in every which way I like, he's always been there for me. Last night I was feeling low and he just said to me, "Do you want a hug?" And that's all I needed, was a hug. But people need to understand that it's not in our head, it's real. I call my bipolar, I call my depression Eeyore, because Eeyore and Winnie the Pooh always goes around moping and groping, but he will always find one positive thing. He could say, "Oh, my house is knocked down." Then he'll turn around and say, "But I've got good friends." And I've got to remember that no matter how depressed I feel, so long as I can find that one positive thing, it will keep me going. My mania reminds me of Tigger, who bounces constantly, because that's what my head does. It bounces all the time. And I've got to get to the Winnie the Pooh stage where things can be great, things can be not so great, but I can sort it out in my head and work around that way. With bipolar, I have tried so many times. I've tried cutting my wrists, I've overdosed, and yeah, it's just been really hard. And in every time I hit a trauma in my life, the depression part comes back. So I just hope that those who don't have a mental illness can understand more about people with mental disorder, that it is it's not what we want to live with, but it's what we have to live with. And if we've got the right support, we can live with it. We just need to be able to open it up to those that are close with us. Okay, thanks, guys. Look, if you've got any comments or anything like that to make, any suggestions you want me to talk about, just leave in the comments and I can try and do that for you. Okay, thanks. Have a great day. Bye.